Hello and welcome from FlameCon. I'm Tomi Trembath with Transcending Comics. We're going to be doing a walkthrough today and getting some floor interviews, meeting some of the incredible creators we have on the floor here. You'll see some familiar faces from episodes past and many new exciting guests and exhibitors. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look inside and see what we can find. All right, starting our day off is with a fan favorite of the show, Kahn. They have some exciting works coming out since they last appeared on the show, including Mr. Muffins, Defender of the Stars. Ben, tell us a little bit about Mr. Muffins.
Mr. Muffins is an exciting new graphic novel coming out January 21st from Oni Press. It reunites me with my Immortals Phoenix Rising artist Giorgio Brooks as we team up for a boy and his dog space adventure about a young boy, Ruben Mahmoud, who's dragged into an intergalactic war when he discovers that the cosmic spirit of light has been reborn as his pet corgi.
Oh my god.
And does Mr. Muffins the corgi talk, or is this...
No talking. He is a normal intelligence corgi who wants belly rubs and ear scratches and can also shoot down a mothership using his mouth lasers.
Gotcha. I'll scratch the interview plans with Mr. Muffins. But what else do you have going on you'd like to plug?
So I'm hearing the Tokyo Pop manga Boys Love manga prequel to Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix. So if you haven't, make sure to catch that on Netflix for some wild and crazy gay cyberpunk awesomeness. And then check out this manga prequel that fills in a lot of the main character's backstory. And then definitely make sure you check out Renegade Rule, the GLAAD Award nominated graphic novel series from Dark Horse Comics, co-written by myself and Rachel Silverstein with art by Sam Beck, about an all-queer girl team of pro gamers fighting to become virtual reality champions.
All right. And this is not your first FlameCon, right?
No, I am a seasoned FlameCon vet. I am a charbroiled FlameCon.
All right. So what would you say makes FlameCon special among other conventions that you've tabled at and been a panelist on?
It's really fucking gay. There's plenty of environments that are queer accepting, but only FlameCon puts queerness front and center first and foremost.
Very cool. Any other selling points to bring people to next year's FlameCon?
Lots of amazing people with amazing art and amazing stories. So, come for the great creators, stay for the fantastic environment.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. You've been wonderful.
Thank you.
We're here with Emily Riesbeck, a writer of comics that really caught our eye yesterday on the floor. Emily, tell us a little bit about what you have on display here.
Well, today I am selling my books. My two probably biggest ones are Pirate and the Porcelain Girl, which is about a girl who is cursed with porcelain skin. So she goes on an adventure to find the love of her life so that she can break the curse. Along the way, she meets a pirate who might be a better candidate for love of your life material. Who knows? We'll see. But they have to learn to get along first. So that's good. She's also being chased by a campy knight villain who is our favorite and is terrible and will never improve. And then Mountain is about two people who are not people climbing a mountain that is not a mountain. Me and my friend Bitmap made it. We published it through some friends of ours. And we put a lot of time and effort into making sure every page was just really as gorgeous as it could possibly be.
Gotcha. And tell us about It's Your Funeral.
It's Your Funeral is about a depressed girl who dies and becomes an intern for the international or intergalactic bureaucracy of the afterlife. So they're sort of like social workers, sort of like therapists for ghosts. It's sort of set up like a TV show, so every chapter is like a single episode, and you can kind of binge through it if you want, or you can read it chapter by chapter and get a sort of like TV experience.
Very cool. And did any of these start as webcomics before their physical form, or is this how they started?
This is how they started. I used to do a webcomic called The Blue Valkyrie, which was about a trans superhero living in the Midwest. And that one we did for a number of years. I'm not selling that anymore. It's a bit old now. But I still hold a candle for it.
Now, is this your first FlameCon, or have you been a few times by now?
This is my first FlameCon, but I've been going to conventions for a number of years and tabling at them.
Okay, how goes your first FlameCon? How does this compare to your other cons?
It's fantastic.
Now, anything else on the horizon you'd want to shout out? Or if nothing else, where can the listeners at home find you?
Well, I'm at Emily Riesbeck on every social media you can imagine, basically. I have a new book called Lucky 555, which is going to be a sci-fi about a girl who lives in space and falls in love with a robot. And that one is by me and Bailey Underwood, who is the artist from It Took Luke, of It Took Luke fame. And it should be coming out in the next few years. We're going to have that and a sequel. So 2 books for them.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Emily. The books look great. We got a copy of Mountain yesterday, and I can't wait to dig into that this evening. We're here with Cynthia Cheng. They've been talked up by other artists here, and we're really excited to look into your work. We noticed a bit of a autobiographical theme in your comics, so what can you tell us about what you have on display?
Yeah, absolutely. I love telling comedy autobio stories, especially like just taking the absurdity of everyday life and telling it through comic format. I like to think of it as like just any funny story I want to tell to my friends, I'll draw it out as a comic, and any reader who's experiencing it is being treated the same as though I'm sitting them down as a friend and telling them about something funny that happened to me.
Now, that sounds awesome. I was kind of drawn toward We Wandering in particular. What can you tell us about this very colorful cover we got here and the book inside?
Yeah, so We Wanderings is, it was originally done for the 2023 Short Box Comics Fair, and it's kind of like 4 little stories about a 10-day solo trip I did in Scotland. So part of it is like me climbing the highest mountain in Scotland and truly being afraid for my death. And then also, classic gay story of like meeting someone cute and them being really nice and like falling in love at first sight, and then it doesn't go so well. So yeah, some fun little stories like that in there.
Now, what's our most recent comic on offer?
The We Wanderings is the newest one, and another comic I'm working on that isn't here at FlameCon, but I'm really excited about is a trans BL story. And this personal illustration here is a little bit of kind of the seed that started that idea for the comic, where it's like we take the fictional characters that we have these romantic attachments to, and they bring us a lot of comfort, but ultimately they're not real, and we kind of have to take the comfort that these fictional characters give us and let it bring us strength into like our real life romantic lives.
So going off the postcard image alone, I take it this is kind of a love story to yaoi or a love story about yaoi?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like I think that as someone who loves reading BL and yaoi and be really loving these romantic story arcs that they go through, and then being like, why? When will I find that in my own life? When will I find that? But then kind of coming to terms that fiction is fiction and real life is separate from fiction. So it's a little bit of a bittersweetness to it. But ultimately, we can't let that idea that fiction is separate from real life to lead to despair. It should lead to hope instead.
Now, you did art on all these books as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I'm noticing some common visual elements, especially in the color styles, but how would you describe your art style to our audience?
Yeah, I would describe my color or my art style kind of as a little bit dreamy, romantic, as well as like light and airy. I don't really go for like sharp edges. People have described it as round, which I identify with. I relate to that for sure.
All right. And what's been your favorite part of coming to FlameCon?
I think just the vibes are really good. Everyone here is like gay nerds here to enjoy each other's presence, and everyone's artwork is really fantastic too. So just the energy here is really great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Cynthia. And listeners at home, look up Cynthia Cheng, check out their work. We're really excited to see what you have in store for us next.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Thank you, everyone.
We're at a lovely double table featuring Ray Cow and Casper Manning. And if I can describe their booth in 3 words, it's bugs, dinosaurs, and Star Trek. Ray, Casper, how's your FlameCon going so far?
It's going great.
Yeah, we were here last year. This feels much more energetic this time. We're having a great year. I feel like that's partially the 10th anniversary stuff. But yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, I think FlameCon is my favorite con just because the vibes are always so lovely and the people here are super nice.
Now, I think the thing that caught my eye first when it came to your work was Percy Jackson gave me ADHD.
It captures a lot of people's eyes. Part of it is that like really nice blue green, and the other part of it is apparently I'm not the only person who's been victimized. It common experience.
Casper, were you victimized by Percy Jackson as well?
I avoided this thing entirely. I think Star Trek got me too young, and I didn't get the Percy Jackson genes. But yeah, I got the autism genes instead.
On that note, I noticed a lot of Star Trek fanzines and sexy magazines over here. Tell us a little bit about your Star Trek work.
Right, so I've loved Star Trek since I was a little kid, but as I got older, I feel like it's a great way to explore kind of deep emotional narratives through sci-fi, and I do that both in my fan work and in my like regular, normal work that I've written myself. And yeah, Data did something for me as a kid, so I'm always trying to give back to him and the like Data and Geordi pairing. And then also, at the moment, I'm doing Q and Picard work because I feel like Q is a wonderful and like misunderstood character, and the queer is like in the name. He's Q.
Yeah, I'd love to see these depictions with the best star captain and an omnipotent Dom. What can we expect from the future steamy comics featuring these two?
I'm hoping to explore more about Q and how his omnipotence really affects like the emotions that he can have as a character. Because there was that one human episode we got with him, and I was like, we need more to explore this space. Because the Picard is like a very uncharacterized character. I feel like we don't actually know very much about him, and so him and Q getting time to explore like a more multifaceted version of their own identities, and then hopefully get together and have fun times. Yeah.
Now, Ray, we notice a very repeating theme of bugs in your artwork, your comics. Tell us a little bit about how bugs play into effect in both your stickers, arts, comics, everything.
So, like insects are the like I think it's like there are more beetles than all other species on Earth or something like an insane statistic like that. And I grew up with them being very like all bugs being very like creepy crawly, don't interact with them. But there's so many really cool bugs out there, and with the massive insect death that's happening worldwide, I'm like, we need to appreciate bugs a little bit more.
You gotta celebrate.
Do you have a favorite species of beetle or favorite bug you've collected or even captured just on camera?
So I really like isopods because people have been like breeding them to have very specific morphs and styles, and I think that's really cool, like the genetic diversity that can exist. But my other favorite bug is the I think it's the tortoise beetle over there. It can change from being gold to being like a lovely like blue-green color just through like I think like it's like liquid in their bodies or some nutty thing like that. And they're just really interesting to me. All bugs are.
Now, you have 3 larger comics over here. What can you tell us about your comics work?
So those 3 are very like they're exploratory in their own way. This one here is kind of like a heavy black action comic. This one is based off of a D&D session I had. And then this one's autobio on the time I raised bugs for college class. And I like capturing like different aspects of my life. And then the bonus is I can show it off and sell it to other people too.
All right. We'll let you get going here soon, but any final thoughts about FlameCon that you'd like the listeners to know?
I hope we can come back again next year. This is a great
Please let
place
us in.
to be.
We want to be here.
If you are in New York in August, please come to FlameCon, either as an attendee, as a exhibitor, programming. It's just a great place to be.
This is far from our first time hearing that FlameCon is a favorite con, so I really can't suggest enough you make the trip to come out next year. Incredible place, and yeah, incredible creators. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Have a great day.
All right, we're here with a couple amazing X-Men cosplayers, or Uncanny, I should say. Tell us a bit about your FlameCon experience.
So this has been great. Actually, the costume I'm wearing today is the costume that actually won me tickets to come to FlameCon. So it's a full circle moment. This has been so much fun to be amongst a bunch of queer people. I literally was Polaris yesterday, and so many people are running up to me with t-shirts saying dating Polaris is gay, which was so great because that's what I was saying every time I was like making a new item for the look. I'm just like, loving Polaris is gay, loving Polaris is gay. Like, it's gonna be so gay. And this has just been such an amazing experience. I know people don't really love Polaris that much, and I've gotten so much Lorna love yesterday that it was so great. And I got to be Marvel Girl on Friday, and I just get to live my fun queer fantasies as being a bad witch. So it's been so much fun.
Let's see, Marvel Girl, how about you?
This has been such an amazing experience. I find that everybody is so polite and so nice. There's so many helpers here, willing and like ready to help out and stop you on your way when you get lost. I love that. The cosplay has been sickening, and I think some of the best cosplay I've seen in a while. So I love this con. I love it so much, and I will be back next year. It's my first time too. Yeah.
So, yeah, I found out about it last year, and then I was like, okay, this is too last minute, but next year I will be there. And then I won tickets, so I didn't have to pay for it. So that was nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, is it just the two of you, or do you have a whole gang of X-Men with you?
Well,
We got
my
one.
sister Lorna is over there. And fun fact, so we're all drag artists from Washington, D.C. When I started drag, I got to know Demanda Martini over here. And she's such a huge nerd, so I just love talking to her. And I was just talking to her about X-Men stuff, and she says, Tiffany, you're such a nerd. Why don't you do cosplay in your drag? And I was just like, well, my drag, I want to be like a bad bitch. I want to be that girl. And wait, Storm's a bad bitch. Jean's that girl. Rogue's that girl. Emma's that girl. Oh, wait, I could do this, yeah. So thanks to Demanda over here, I've become the cosplaying queen as well.
All right. What's your favorite cosplay you've incorporated into a drag performance?
Oh my God. It might be recency bias, but I recently did Dochi's alter ego as Mystique from X-Men. My favorite part being I inserted a clip from the 90s cartoon where she's telling Nightcrawler, so there's your true son, I didn't want you. Still sad for me. Going right back into the song, unfazed, unbothered, unfuckable bitch, why bother? And it's just so, like, I love when I can hear a song and I'm like, this is perfect for that character. And that song was just alter ego. What blue assassin from comics do I know that has a bunch of alter egos? This is perfect. I don't have to do that much.
All right. How about you? Do you incorporate cosplay into your drag performances as well?
Absolutely. So my name is Sirene Noir. Back home in DC, I'm also known as one of the cosplay queens of DC. I think my favorite performance that I've incorporated cosplay into would have to be my Catwoman number. And I can't wait to do it again. I actually will be changing out of this and putting on Catwoman earlier. So if you see me running around, don't be shy. Say hey. Oh wow, that's an elaborate costume.
And what about you? Where can we find you online for those wanting to see more of your cosplay and performances?
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram at badgal_tiff. That's BADGAL_TIFF.
Any handles you want to plug as well?
Absolutely. So if you would like, you can find me on Instagram. That is Sirene_Noir_. It'll be the longest name that pops up on Instagram. It's a picture of a mermaid. You'll see it.
Frankly, if it doesn't pop up after underscore, then you can't find her.
Thanks so much. You and your costumes are both incredible.
Thank you so much.
We're here with Hamish Steele, the writer and artist behind the graphic novels of Dead India, the series behind the Netflix original series of the same name. Hamish, tell us a little bit about Dead India.
Well, it's about some teens, some queer friends working in a theme park that happens to be built on a portal to hell. And every chapter of the books and every episode of the TV show, they kind of come up against things like demons and angels and ghosts and stuff while dealing with the trials and tribulations of love and loss and all that stuff. So I sometimes describe it as like Scooby-Doo and Buffy, but much, much, much gayer.
Now, since the release of the Netflix series, how has that affected your con experience and your interaction with fans?
It's been really nice. This is my third FlameCon, and my very first one, it was really fun, but no one really knew who I was, and I was really, always having to upsell my books and explain them all the time. Now I would say most of the people that come to my table are already fans, which is really nice. And I get to see people cosplaying my characters, or I've even seen someone else selling stickers of my characters, which I personally love. I think it's great. And so yeah, it's been a really nice experience.
Now, how far ahead of the series are you with the graphic novels?
So Netflix being Netflix, I have to say sadly the show was cancelled after 2 seasons. So that's roughly book 1 and book 2. But unlike a lot of Netflix shows that get cancelled, I feel very lucky that I've been able to do book 3. So there is an ending now, and people can find out how the show would have ended by reading the book.
Very cool. And you mentioned that this is your third FlameCon. For those at home who haven't been, how would you describe this convention compared to other cons you've tabled at?
So I'm not just saying this, it is probably my favorite. Not only is the focus so heavily on independent creators and comics itself, as opposed to some larger cons which are more TV and film focused, here it really feels like the community coming together to celebrate each other. And I just feel like everyone who comes here feels that they can truly be themselves. And you can see so many people expressing themselves through cosplay, but also just getting to be kind of authentically themselves. For a lot of people, they don't get the chance. And I feel like it's the highest concentration anywhere of people who like my stuff. So I always come back for the monetary reason that I usually do really well here. So.
And for those that want to finish the series and just read your books in general, where's the best place to get your graphic novels?
So I'm from the UK. So if you are in the US, I know a lot of people want to like support me directly and buy from me, but the shipping costs can be tough. Luckily, these books, they should be available everywhere. Barnes and Noble has them. I've checked a few stores in New York while I've been here as well, some smaller stores as well. So just support your local bookstore. I think that's the best way to do it. And I get, royalties regardless. So yeah.
All right. Well, check out Dead India on Netflix as well as the graphic novels at a bookstore near you. And yeah, support local booksellers. We're joined here by Beck Hackett, who's the artist behind one of our favorite books we found on the con floor, Magical Boy Basil. Beck, can you tell us a little bit about the series?
Of course. So Magical Boy Basil is about undercover teenage magicians who battle monsters in order to maintain the balance of the town. Basil is the new boy in town, and he finds out that the popular kids, including his future love interest Aaron, are all secretly magicians. Chaos ensues.
Very cool. And we've noticed a lot of people recognizing Magical Boy Basil with the prints we've gotten. And I'm noticing this incredible tarot-inspired artwork. What's the fan response been like for you coming back to FlameCon and just in general, bringing this book to the con floor?
It's been pretty positive. I get several people usually at an event like this coming up and they're just like, oh, I read you online, or my friend showed you to me and I binged it all last night. And it's incredibly rewarding to have people recognize us. And just even through like the art, they're like, oh, I know that character, or, oh, I know Magical Boy Basil. And it's wonderful. It really helps keep me going.
Have you seen any cosplayers yet dressed up as Basil or any of your other characters?
Not at FlameCon, but actually there was one Basil cosplayer up in Canada, believe it or not, and they did an amazing job. They handmade the lace and everything on Basil's dress. It was incredible. I believe on Instagram they're Looney Loon Cosplay, so if you want to check them out, there they are.
And as far as checking out Magical Boy Basil, you mentioned that a lot of readers are coming to it online. Where's the best place for the listeners at home to find the book?
If you want to get a physical copy, we do have a shop on our website, which also has the comic to read for free. So it's magicalboybasil.com, and it's Magical Boy Basil on like all social media. So we're pretty easy to find.
Now, you have a number of fun zines down here as well. What can you tell us about what you have on offer here?
Okay, so the zines are all little standalone stories that feature the main cast of the comic. So basically, like this one right here is just like a little poking fun at the detective noir genre. So it's a little detective story. There's like, they go to the winter formal down there, that kind of stuff. So you don't have to read the main storyline to really know it. It helps, but they're just fun little standalones.
I really like that idea of having these little spin-off solo adventures through black and white zines. How did you come to that idea, and how has it helped like expand the world and the characters you're working on?
Well, I prefer black and white, believe it or not. I know a lot of Magical Boy Basil is very colorful and fun, but like just black and white line work is probably my favorite thing to do. So that's kind of why I did that with the zines, because I knew it would be faster, that kind of thing. And as for the spin-off stories, it's going to be a little while before we can get to like all of the side characters, like the Tanglewood Magicians. And so I wanted to like start featuring them in like the side materials so that you can kind of get to know them a little bit before we start really diving into the characters.
Very cool. Now, just last question here. As for those that are considering FlameCon in the future, what brings you back to this con every year, and what do you think makes it stand out among other cons?
Well, being one of the biggest queer conventions certainly helps. I think that the sense of community is probably the best part. I always feel welcome and safe here. I think it's just a wonderful environment. It's always been super positive. I've met wonderful, wonderful people here. I've met lifelong friends here. So I think that it's just a really great place to be. And we love coming back.
It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you here. I love everything I've seen of Magical Boy Basil so far. Listeners at home, check out the book online or come say hi next time you see them on the con floor. All right, we're here with a friend of the show, Kim Wang. Kim, how's your FlameCon going so far?
It's going great. It's been a lot of fun. It's my first year at the show.
Fans of the show will know Kim from their work on Of Thunder and Lightning and O Radiant Devil, O Whispering Angel. Since you were on the show, what's new with you? Any projects on the horizon you can tell us about?
On the horizon, yes. Not so much I can talk about just yet, but I'm working on it. It's chaotic girl violence. Is you can count on that being in there.
I like all three of those words. How's FlameCon compared for you to other conventions?
Other conventions, it's definitely different. I think I tend to go to conventions that are a bit more small press focused. I haven't done a ton of stuff. I think FlameCon feels a little bit like a cross between a more fan or like typical convention crossed with like indie comics. And so it's interesting being in that kind of space. It's definitely a little bit different.
Gotcha. And what's the fan response been like to your comics so far?
It's been really good. I do not have to go back home with the same weight of suitcase that I came here with, and that's a win in my book.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the interview, and thank you again for being on the panel last night. I really can't wait to see what kind of chaotic girl violence you have in store for us. But whenever that's out, I'd love to have you on the show again to talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. That's Kim Wang. We're here with Tess from Yurisoft, who's promoting her newest game, The Songbird Guild. Tess, tell us about your FlameCon experience so far.
Oh, it's been really great. Everyone here is super nice, and it's just really fun to see such a celebration of, the exact culture that we're sort of celebrating as well with this. So I've had a blast here so far, even just sitting behind a table and talking to people.
Speaking of your table, you have an incredible setup here with the screen showing off trailers for the game, as well as the personality quiz down here we both took yesterday. This has been incredible. How'd you come up with the idea of doing a personality quiz as a fan engagement thing?
I really like personality quizzes for games and stuff. So I was like, I almost made it for myself too. I was like, I would love this if I was attending a convention, and I kind of want it to exist.
What can you tell us about the Songbird Guild itself and as a game?
So it is a Yuri RPG about magical girls. In this universe, being a magical girl is just like a regular 9-to-5 job. You have to go get contracts, pay the bills and stuff. But it's a tough job. A lot of people outside of that profession don't understand what it takes to be a magical girl. So as some of these characters go through, the process of, fighting through this dangerous job together, they start to grow closer to each other, and two of our characters, Kotari and Kaida, that you'll see in the trailer, fall in love, and that's kind of the story, is about them, falling in love with each other.
Yeah, now tell us a bit about your own personal favorite magical girl media and what you're drawing inspiration from for the Songbird Guild.
So, funnily enough, when this all started out, the only prompt was basically gay Fire Emblem, which is really funny because as it evolved, the mechanics are not very similar to Fire Emblem anymore at all. That's sort of how it started out, was like, what if Fire Emblem was all magical girls and they all just, you could ship them all together. I don't know, I've always been a big fan of Madoka Magica, but I've also been a big fan of things that came out later that sort of have that same darkness but aren't quite as maybe pessimistic about their worldview. Like, Sleepless Domain is a webcomic that's similar.
Now, is this your first FlameCon?
No, I was here with a table for Yurisoft 2 years ago. Back then we were advertising that the demo would be out in the fall. Here it is 2 years after after that, but it is out now. And then before that, I had attended as an attendee. And it was actually a lot of the inspiration for creating this in the first place, is because I was like, oh wow, there's a whole lot of people here, and it's not just queer, it's not just, nerd culture, it's like the intersection between the two specifically. And I thought that was really cool.
Now, where can our listeners find your game, and when can they expect the full release?
So if you go to yurisoft.com, that's probably your best bet. That links out to like a Tumblr and an Instagram and a newsletter where you can follow us, and a YouTube. You can just follow us wherever you want to, get your updates from. There is a demo on Steam or Itch if you just search the Songbird Guild there. As far as an expected release, right now we are hoping maybe sometime in the spring. But we did also come here 2 years ago and say, yes, there will be a demo in the fall. That came out 2 years later. So I say that with a large grain of salt, just knowing that things don't always go according to plan.
Well, Tess, the game looks incredible so far, as does your table. So thanks so much for talking to us today. We can't wait for the game's final release.
Oh, thank you for stopping by. It looks like a really cool show that you have. So thank you very much for coming around and talking to a lot of us.
Anytime. Yeah, check out the Songbird Guild on Yurisoft.com, as well as Steam and Itch. And we'll be looking forward to the game's full release. We're here with Xanthe Bouma, the artist from Dungeon Club, the book they collaborated on with Molly Knox Ostertag. And they have quite the incredible table beyond that, with their pinups, their zines, and so much that I want to know more about. Tell us a bit about your FlameCon experience so far.
It's my first FlameCon. It's been super fun. I was really excited to be surrounded by guests and other artists who are queer, and just like, I don't feel like I have to explain myself or be any different than who I am. So I feel good to just have my defenses down and be able to share art vulnerably with other people. So I've been having a lot of fun. I flew out from California, so this is like a big travel for me. It's a good time.
So I think a lot of our fans will be familiar with Dungeon Club. I know that's been a popular one, but tell us a bit about the zines you have on offer here.
I haven't done zines for a really long time, but yeah, I just kind of pulled together these mini zines beforehand because I've been wanting to be more expressive of sexuality in my work more freely. So I thought that this was like a good place to do it. And they're just little things that collections of doodles that I've accumulated over time. And then this one is like a colorful fan comic that I did a few years ago that's very like the cute rom-com of my dreams.
So this came up in our panel last night as well, but I'd love to know, how much did Kingdom Hearts play a role in your own journey of self-discovery and possibly sexuality?
Probably like a huge part of it, because like I was a kid and then I was a teen, and I feel like the world of Kingdom Hearts is so like metaphorical and like symbolic that I was able to really like delve into the themes and like the character relationships and like kind of see myself refracted in it. So yeah, I think that was probably like when I was coming to terms with like being less internalized homophobia. Like the game kind of like helped me out of that. And then I revisited again as I got older, and I was like, artistically, I was able to just like dig my hands into it. So yeah.
Now, tell us a bit about Dungeon Club and what the experience was like working with Molly Knox Ostertag on that, and what your own relationship with Dungeons and Dragons has been.
Molly's amazing. I'm like so grateful for her because she's so good at writing that like every page of the script I'm excited to draw, which like is kind of hard in comics because it takes so long. Like I'm spending like a year drawing this. So yeah, she's great. I think the story is really good and the characters are awesome, and it's fun to kind of revisit the middle school self, as I was talking about earlier, through these like middle school characters. And for Dungeons and Dragons, it's something I got into when I was a little bit older, but it's been a nice way to explore and have fun with like my family and friends. So you know, I feel like it's sort of like a dream, a dream job. Yeah.
Now, do you have any upcoming projects that our listeners should be on the lookout for?
Right now I'm just finishing Dungeon Club, so the 3rd volume will be out sometime probably next year, I think, and that will be the final volume. And then after that, I'm really going to try to focus on working on my own graphic novels and doing my own writing, so hopefully I'll be able to keep that together and make something soon.
Ooh, anything you can tell us about what kind of story you might have in store with your own graphic novels?
It's important to me to do like rom-coms, I think, because that's just like my passion. So I think that my story will be something that's very romantic, very fun, and I want it to be very self-indulgent because I think that's important. And I feel like that will resonate with someone, and that's also important to me. So for now, that's all. But yeah, I think it'll be magical, it'll be romantic, and it'll be gay.
Yeah. Now, you have some incredible fan art here. I'm loving this Persona one. I don't even know what this green dragon thing is, but I want to know about it thanks to your art. Oh, Saint Seiya. That totally checks out. For the fans at home that want to check out more of this artwork online, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at XOXOBOH. And I'm also on Twitter from time to time with XOXOBouma, BOUMA. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Your table's incredible, and we can't wait to see what you have in store for us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for chatting.
FlameCon can really be exhausting. There's just so much queer joy to be had here, so many cool people to talk to, cool cosplayers. It's hard on the body, and it's even harder on the wallet, but it's absolutely worth the experience, and yeah, see you next year.